I'm Philip Bluestein with Bluestein Law Firm, and we want to welcome you to our latest edition of our Facebook Live series, Business Insights Anyone Can Use. At the Bluestein Law Firm, we help healthcare professionals and businesses practices build and protect their careers and practices. Today, we're here with Susan Stafford with Margenau Associates. And Margenau Associates they are acoustic specialists. They specialize in speech privacy through sound masking and white noise. But I'll have Susan go ahead and explain that to you a little bit better than I can. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll talk about what you do with Margenau Associates.
Okay. I'm Susan Stafford with Margenau, and I've been in Colorado about 7 years now, and came here from the Silicon Valley, born and raised in Cupertino before it was actually Silicon Valley, and started my career in office and industrial relocation, as well as specialized transportation, and then project managing major relocation projects as well. So always been in kind of the office and industrial space. And then after moving to Denver and continuing that a bit, I realized that I wanted to work for a Colorado-based company. And I had known the president of Margenau and was able to come to work for Margenau, and it's just been wonderful. It's still dealing in my same space with office and industrial folks and facilities, and it just did a really, to me, very exciting and interesting way.
Yeah, I imagine it was a good segue from dealing with relocation and things like that, because you were probably seeing a lot of these issues, and maybe at some point not even realizing you were seeing these issues, or even knowing a whole lot initially about how do you fix these issues. So let's talk a little bit more about about Margenau Associates and kind of the challenges that that you guys help your clients with.
Okay, great. Yeah, as you mentioned, the office space has changed and evolved over the years. I've gotten to see that where walls have come down, architecture and design has made spaces much more open and collaborative. And with that brings some acoustic challenges. So we help companies to deal with that in bringing back the privacy into an office without actually building walls, as well as eliminating some of that distraction. So open and collaborative is a wonderful way to get work done, but it can also be very distracting. A lot of studies have shown that that's a number one dissatisfaction for employees is the amount of distraction. So we have various different ways that we can bring in, again, privacy to keep confidential information confidential and reduce distraction and just make it a more comfortable space to work in.
So I've even seen some office designs that they have walls, they have walled offices, but the wall only goes up to the ceiling tiles, and then it's all open above that. And I always wondered, well, you hear everything in the office next door to you, and particularly in our area where we work with healthcare, if I've got a dentist and they're drilling on somebody's tooth, you probably don't want the people in the reception area or in other rooms to hear those noises. It can be kind of disturbing. Even everything's going fine, but that makes people nervous when they're at the doctor's office, a physician's office, or a dental office. So I mean, those are the kinds of things that you can address too.
They are, definitely, yeah. We do specialize in speech privacy, so we're working with making sure that male and female voices are appropriately covered, so it's not creating a soundproof environment, really just reducing the intelligibility of speech, so you're not understanding the words being spoken. It's definitely an issue within healthcare because information needs to be kept private, verbal, written, and so forth. So within any office or medical type facility, that's really what we're doing. Is we don't want to compromise design and the openness of the space, but privacy is an issue, and really through sound masking is the best way to be able to cover those voices, to again keep information confidential and keep people from being disturbed. There's other things that we integrate. You mentioned in a dental office, there's drilling, there's other noises that we want to cover up. And so what we'll do is we can integrate music into our sound systems, and we can also add in paging as well if that's a feature that somebody's looking
I
at.
can hear our office dogs barking in the background. I don't know if our viewers can hear it, and maybe we need some sound masking for that. They just want to be part of everything. So okay, so I've heard over the years, and I've learned from you, there's different terminology. There's sound masking, there's white noise, there's even pink noise, which I don't think I'd even heard that term before I met you. So can you kind of tell us a little bit so our viewers can kind of get their bearings a little bit and know what kind of different things that we're looking at here.
Certainly. When we talk about sound masking, there's a couple of different ways that we integrate sound masking into a space. So we've got what we use is actually pink noise. White noise is a term that most people have heard of, but we actually use a pink noise, which means they're the same frequencies, white and pink noise, but what pink noise is just a little bit of a softer sound. White noise is more of a scratchy, staticky type of sound that can be irritating over time, where pink noise is it's got a little bit less treble in it, so it's a smoother sound, more like airflow, like an HVAC system going on, or and then sound masking is also still a little bit differently. That's usually, it's a electronically generated, nondescript noise that it sounds similar to the ear as the pink noise does. It's just created a little bit differently, and it's implemented a little bit differently as well. So there's a number of different ways that we apply these systems through whether it be hardware. We are a design build firm, and what that means is that we work with several different manufacturers and lines of products so that we can get the appropriate tuning and sound in a different space, because every space is completely different acoustically.
Yeah, I know that a lot of our healthcare professionals are aware of that thing called HIPAA. They pretty much know what it is, and they have a general idea of what they need to do, and I think you were kind of starting to touch on this a little bit. But even if they don't understand all the details, they know they need to get things taken care of. And so from a HIPAA standpoint, how do you help in the healthcare offices? I think you kind of touched a little bit on this, but if you could kind of go a little bit more into that.
Well, what HIPAA is asking, and I guess mandating that medical professionals do, is keep information private.
Right.
And that's both written and electronic, but it's also spoken and verbal.
And I think people, I know as representing a lot of healthcare professionals, people tend to forget that part. They forget about the verbal part of it. They think, oh, I've got my writing, I've got it digitally, everything's fine, but they don't think about what's happening in the room next to them and the fact that it's coming over the wall or whatever.
That's very true. I think that everybody could probably have a story of when they've been in their doctor's office, whether it be mental health, dental, medical, and they're overhearing everything that's happening and being said in the room next to them, or potentially overhearing things that are being discussed at a nursing station, or even upon check-in, if you're overhearing everything that's happening in a reception area. So those are still things that are supposed to be protected. And by introducing our sound masking systems, what that does is, again, we're reducing the intelligibility of speech. So we're bringing in this sound so that you're not understanding as many words. So you're able to keep private conversations private. Sound will always follow the path of least resistance. So if you've got a wall between exam rooms, as you mentioned, that doesn't penetrate, that doesn't go from what we call a deck to deck, from ceiling to floor, all the way, which structurally many offices can't do that.
Right.
You need to mitigate that in some way.
Right.
So what we do is bring in our sound masking.
Yeah, and so this is really interesting. I wish we had more time, but I do want to respect our viewers and everything. So certainly, these are some important issues that we're discussing today. They're very important for healthcare practices. It's also important for other businesses in their functioning. But we're glad you were able to attend today. If you'd like to learn some more information about sound masking for your office, certainly you can reach out to Margino Associates, Susan Stafford here. And at the Bluestein Law Firm, we help people with a lot of different challenges in their practices and in their careers. And we want to help take care of you. So we want to give you the opportunity to be able to take care of your patients better without having to worry about a lot of other things. We'd be honored to speak with you. If you have any questions about this or something else related to your career practice, please let us know. And once again, at the Bluestein Law Firm, we believe in helping healthcare professionals and practices make the world a better place, one patient at a time. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.